Hello YouTube, this is Corbin22 here, back with another 100-point squadron build for Star Wars X-Wing miniatures. Tonight we take a look at three very unique ships. They are an Incom T-65 X-Wing piloted by Commander Wedge Antilles of Rogue Squadron. I think he's a lieutenant, but yeah, Jake Farrell piloting his RZ-1 A-Wing Interceptor, and we have Airen Cracken piloting a Incom Z95 Headhunter. Now, the emphasis behind this build is a little different. There is a certain elite pilot skill that people tend to take a liking to called Push the Limit, which allows you to take an extra action on top of your first action, but at the cost of getting a stress. Well, it got me thinking. There's a way I could possibly use that to my advantage by combining with other ship abilities. And here's what I've come up with so far. I'll show you the build. So this is the build we have here. As you can tell, all three of them have the Push the Limit Elite Pilot skill upgrade, and both of Wedge's wingmen have abilities that allow their co-pilot to perform a free action on top of their regular action. Well, except for Wedge, of course, because Wedge's ability is just it's ability that you just can't pass up on. I mean, come on. But yeah, we'll start with the squadron leader of the build, and it is Commander Wedge Antilles of Rogue Squadron. He has a pilot skill of 9. He flies the Incom T-65 X-Wing fighter. He has an attack value of 3, an agility value of 2, a hull value of 3, and a shield value of 2. He can take on the focus and lock-on actions. He costs 29 squadron points, and is able to take on an elite pilot skill upgrade, a warhead upgrade, and an Astromech upgrade. And his ability states, when attacking, reduce the defender's agility value by 1 to a minimum of 0. Again, Wedge Antilles has got to be my favorite X-Wing to field because of his ability. It's probably a favorite among most other X-Wing pilots as well, because his ability turns into a bomber killer. I've said this many times before, and it never gets old. Wedge is perfect for taking down heavy bombers like the shuttle, like heavy ships like the shuttle or the VT-49, and of course he's also good at taking down bombers like the TIE bomber, or Scum and Villainy Y-wing bombers, because they all have agility values of 2 to 1. And of course, with Wedge's ability, it turns them into agility values of 1 to 0, which is especially lethal if you're attacking at close range, at range 1, because then of course Wedge gets the the attack bonus on top of his agility nullification. So yeah, for his first upgrade, we'll go with a modification. Another thing they all share in common is all three of them have a shield upgrade, which increases their shield value by 1. So that means Wedge is able to take 1 extra hit, and that extra hit protects him from critical. So that means Wedge now has the same stats, pretty much almost the same stats as an E-wing fighter. Only difference being is that the agility and hull value are reversed. For his upgrades, we'll start with the obvious one. His elite pilot skill being Push the Limit, which states once per round after you perform an action, you may perform a free action on top of your action bar, then receive a stress token. So yeah, the cost of getting a stress, Wedge is able to perform both his actions in the same turn. So he's able to perform a focus and a lock-on action, which is useful for using his next upgrade, which is Flechette Torpedoes. One of my personal favorite warheads to use. Has a decent attack value. It can be used at range 2 to 3. Let me just get this to focus. And states, discard this card and spend your target lot to perform this attack. After you perform this attack, the defender receives 1 stress token if its hull value is 4 or lower. So this is great for like pretty much every single TIE out there. It's also good for enemy Z95, Scum and Villainy Z95's Y-wings and HWK-290s, as well as a few other ships, I believe. I don't know that for sure. But because of the fact that if their hull value is 4 or lower, they will receive a stress token, regardless if this attack misses. So Flechette Torpedoes, it's always great. Flechette Torpedoes are always great to pack, are always a great torpedo to pack if you're going up against lots and lots of ships that have low hull values, because they're going to get stressed, which limits their ability, which will limit their ability to maneuver properly. It'll either make them have to rely on their red-white maneuvers to get out of trouble, or force them to do a slow green maneuver to get rid of the stress, which puts them in a bad position and allows you to get into a better position to attack them. And of course, because Push the Limit deals stress to you, to help Wedge get rid of his stress more easily, I've given him an R2 Astromech, which states you may treat all 1 and 2 speed maneuvers as green maneuvers. So that means Wedge now has a total of, I believe, let's see, he starts with 4, which is all of his speed 1s and his straight ahead speed 2. This adds 4 more green maneuvers to Wedge's dial. So all of his speed 1 maneuvers are default by green maneuvers. His speed 2, his head 2, his 2 bank 2s, and his 2 hard 2s also become all green maneuvers, which makes it easier for you to stay on your enemy's tail, or your target's tail, while getting rid of the stress and allowing you to perform a second push the limit. So it allows you, with R2 Astromech, you can stay on your enemy's tail and continue to spam with push the limit, allowing you to do both of your actions in the same turn, and ultimately dishing out maximum damage. Now for his right wingman, I've gone with a slightly different ship. I've gone with a ship piloted by Airen Cracken. I believe it's a female. She has a pilot skill of 8. She flies the Incom Z95 AF4 Headhunter. She has an attack value of 2, an agility value of 2, hull value 2, shield value 2, so straight 2 is down her stat line. Like Wedge, she can also take on the focus and lock-on actions. It costs 19 squadron points, and is able to take on an elite pilot skill upgrade and a missile upgrade. Her ability states, after you perform an attack, you may choose another friendly ship at range 1. That ship may perform a free action. So, this allows, as long as Airen Cracken stays close to her wingmates or her squadron leader, after she attacks, that ship, if they're not stressed, will be able to perform a free action. So this gives Wedge a bit more, this will allow, probably best pitted with Jake Farrell, because he'll be going after Airen Cracken he'll be going after Airen Cracken when she attacks. But this basically means that after they attack, Jake will get a free action on top of his action before he attacks, or Wedge will be able to get, like, say, another target lock if he's not stressed, and which will save him from using spamming push the limit too much, because you don't want to stress yourself out too all the time, right? Let's see, for her elite pilot skill, I've also given her a push the limit, which lets her perform both of her actions at the same turn at the cost of getting a stress. And for her missile, I've given her cluster missiles, which is one of my favorite missiles to use, which states attack value 3, range 1 to 2. Spend your target lock and discard this card to perform this attack twice. So that means it's basically like attacking with your primary and then attacking again with gunner. Your first attack hits or misses, and the only difference being is that you get a second tap regardless if your first attack hits or misses. And of course, like with Wedge, she also gets a shield upgrade, which increases her shield value. So that means she now has attack 2, agility 2, hull 2, and shield 3, which again gives her extra hit points, allows her to sustain that extra critical. And finally move on to the interceptor of the build, which is piloted by Jake Farrell. He has a pilot skill of 7, and he flies the RZ-1 A-Wing Interceptor. He has an attack value of 2, agility value 3, hull value 2, shield value 2. He can take on the focus, lock-on, boost, and evade actions. He costs 24 squadron points, and he's able to take on an elite pilot skill upgrade and a missile upgrade similar to Airen Cracken. His ability states, after you perform a focus action or assign a focus token, you may perform a free booster barrel roll action. So Jake Farrell's ability is quite awesome, because if he performs a focus action or is assigned a focus token, he will be able to do a free action, and one of those actions is not included in his action bar. So that means, pitted with Airen Cracken, he'll be able to do, say he does a lock-on or an evade or a boost or whatever. Airen Cracken's ability will allow him to perform that focus action, which again grants him that extra free booster barrel. So basically, with Jake Farrell, combined with Airen Cracken, Jake will potentially be able to take on 4 actions in his turn. Really pushing the limit, if you ask me. And again, he also has the shield upgrade, and he also has push the limit for whenever he's not close to Airen Cracken. And then, of course, for his missile, I've given him a Chardaan Refit, which decreases his squadron point cost by 2, making his A-Wing cost 22 points. So that's it. This is my pushing the limit build. Let me just get this a minute to focus. There we go. So yeah, this is my pushing the limit build. Its advantages, being able to perform every single one of the their actions at least once. Because, again, Airen Cracken and Jake Farrell have abilities that allow themselves or their partners to perform more than one action, Wedge Antilles' ability is, I just put him in there because his ability is so awesome and he makes a great squadron leader. But again, they all have push the limit, which allows each of them to take on more than one action. So with Wedge and Airen, they'll be able to take on both their focus and their lock on in the same turn. With Jake Farrell, he'll be able to do one of his actions, and then say his second action is a focus, and then he'll be able to perform a free booster barrel roll on top of that, and then of course he'll get stressed, which is fine because with Wedge he has an R2 Astromech to help with the stress, and Jake Farrell is an interceptor. He's got like tons of green maneuvers to work with. One of them, he even had a green maneuver, a speed 5 green maneuver, and I mean, you know, that's unheard of. I mean, only A-wings can do that. Not even the TIE Interceptor can do that. And the TIE Interceptor is the Imperial counterpart to the A-wing. Weaknesses and disadvantages. Airen Cracken is the only one that does not have. Both Wedge and Jake have a lot of green maneuvers to help get rid of the stress, but Airen Cracken is the only one that has to abide, that doesn't have anything to help her get rid of the stress. So if she does push the limit, she will be in trouble. You have to be really careful when using push the limit with Airen, because you could potentially put her in a bad position. Not that her destruction won't exactly, like, you know, hinder the squadron. It's not exactly, it's a synergy build, but it's not completely a synergy build. Like, each one of these ships are able to perform well on their own. You know, also added the fact that let's see here, Airen Cracken, despite having the shield upgrade, is still a very fragile ship. In fact, they're all very fragile ships, even with the shield upgrades. The one who can take the most hits out of this build is probably Wedge, because he has a hull value of 3, and with the shield value has a shield value of 3. So he has 6 hit points, while the other two have 5. Their attack values are kind of okay. Wedge is able to deal stress damage with his Flechettes, regardless if they miss. And that's pretty much all there is to it. So yeah, this is my push the limit build, or pushing the limits build. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Any constructive criticism is greatly appreciated. If you like, you may use this build for any competitive or casual play, or if you want, you can tweak it or revamp it to your own specifications. Thank you guys so much for watching. This is Corbin22, signing off.